We've got a couple of interviews coming up right now. The first is with Mr. Chuck Westfall of Canon. So Chuck, what's your job title at Canon?
I'm technical advisor for our professional engineering and solutions division with Canon in our headquarters office.
Great, thanks for joining us. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Canon makes everything from point-and-shoot compacts right up to professional DSLRs. I mean, how is the DSLR market doing now compared to, say, 5 years ago?
Well, that's an interesting question. Actually, it turns out that 2013, which is the latest year that we actually have figures for, we're up about 50% in terms of units compared to that time. So the digital SLR market has grown quite a bit compared to 5 years ago, but quite honestly, the peak was in 2012. Mm-hmm.
It's been a tough few years, hasn't it?
Well, it's started to shift a little bit over the last year or so, but at the same time, it's still very healthy. I mean, we're looking forward to continued growth in that market to a certain extent.
So why don't you just quickly talk us through the new products, the 7D Mark II that was announced at Photokina last month?
Sure. This is our new APS-C flagship camera, which means that basically it's a small chip digital SLR with the greatest level of features and control on it. So the 7D Mark II is a camera that can do almost as much as our top-of-the-line professional camera in terms of overall features, and in some ways even exceeds it. It does 10 frames per second for still photos, has a 65-point autofocus system, which is tremendous for being able to follow moving subjects. But it also has a very highly developed video capability built into it, and we've really found that there's a lot of interest from our customers on the video side as well as the still side. And there's a whole bunch of other features on it.
Great. So you're clearly very focused on DSLR, on the high-end DSLR. I know a lot of our readers are waiting for Canon to sort of seriously enter the enthusiast mirrorless space. I mean, do you think there's an opportunity there for Canon?
Well, I would say this. Unfortunately, we're never able to talk about what's coming. You know, that's just something that, as a general rule, that we have to be very careful about. On the other hand, I can tell you that we are clearly listening to our customers and finding out what it is that they want in terms of a high-end camera that fits their needs. We're certainly well aware that a lot of people are very enthusiastic about mirrorless. Mm-hmm.
So you seem to be pitching, this is another new camera, the G7X, and you seem to be pitching this almost in that space, really. I mean, why don't you just talk us very quickly through that product?
Sure. The G7X is actually a camera that, for us, blazes a new trail because it's our first 1-inch sensor camera. And the nice thing about it is that we get a tremendous level of image quality out of this, and we also have a very, very small, compact form factor that can fit into a shirt pocket. Mm-hmm. So what we really think is that a camera like this can serve the purpose for a wide range of users, all the way from beginners up through enthusiasts and even into professionals who are looking for a backup camera.
So how do you, I mean, one of the big stories of the last couple of days and the industry as a whole is the fact that smartphones have to some extent eroded the market for the compact point and shoot, which I know has been very profitable for Canon in the past. How do you differentiate your products from smartphones now in people's minds to make them upgrade to a camera?
Well, I think we have to just step back for a moment and take a look at what this erosion really is. And there's such a wide range of point-and-shoot cameras. Mostly the erosion has occurred on the very low end. Mm-hmm. So the mid-range to high-end of the point-and-shoot market has actually grown over the past few years. That's one of the reasons why we continue to develop new product for it. So what we really want to do with a camera like the G7X is to upgrade its feature set to the point where it really does make sense for a photographer to want to use a camera like this in preference to a smartphone for a lot of the different photography that they enjoy doing to get a better quality result.
And how do you do that?
The features that are built in here in terms of the lens and the sensor really, and the processor for that matter, really make it easy to come up with a very, very high quality photograph. And it's our job as a manufacturer then to try and convince customers that the quality of the image is very important for them to consider when they're buying or what kind of a camera they like to use.
So there are more pictures being taken now than ever before. There are more photographers in the world than ever before, even if they wouldn't necessarily define themselves as photographers. And how have their expectations changed the way you design products?
Well, the big change has been the expectation that the images can be shared almost instantaneously. And the internet and all the various different social media that is out there has really helped to make that happen. It's become fairly seamless for a lot of people to be able to share their images on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. So, and not to mention others, but the idea about the camera then is to try and get the connection between our camera and that social media platform as seamless as possible.
Mm. And do you see connection, we've gone over this in an earlier segment, but just to reiterate, do you see Wi-Fi and connectivity and social options as being primarily an entry-level feature, or I mean, do you see interest in them right to the top end?
Absolutely, all the way through from beginners up to the whole level of top pro, because as you get into that higher level of pro, what you end up finding is that they want even more. They want to have the ability to control the camera remotely, so they're using the Wi-Fi app as a way to do that.
So as you're differentiating your products from not only smartphones but competitors as well, especially mirrorless competitors, I mean, how do you keep up and how do you win while keeping the products affordable?
You have to always listen to the customers and find out what it is that they really need from their cameras. In terms of connectivity, it's absolutely crucial to make sure that you are well connected to the customers, and then I think through that we're able to reflect it in the products that we develop.
So I know that the Wi-Fi didn't make it into the 7D Mark II, for example.
It did not. It's a feature that could be added in with a separate transmitter, which we do offer, but a camera like the 7D Mark II has a much wider appeal than just connecting to a social media. It's a powerful professional tool, and one of the things that was important from a design level was to keep the body of that camera as robust as possible. The problem with Wi-Fi in an all-metal camera is that it's tough to get the signal in or out.
So how important, I mean, the 7D Mark II is, just to return to this product again, it's come 5 years after the original 7D. You had a very long time to do a lot of research. You had a lot of users of the original 7D. I mean, what were they telling you that they wanted in the replacement to that camera?
When we were listening to the people who had the 7D and other cameras in the EOS lineup over the last few years, almost all of them told us that they wanted to have a higher level of features on being able to capture moving subjects, and also on the video side to be able to have more control over the camera in terms of the image settings and the audio capabilities. Really, we were looking at those two areas as being a very big part of the improvements that we could put in.
So when you create a product like the 7D Mark II, before you've announced it, I mean, what kind of field testing do you do with it?
Actually, in Japan, we really do have a pretty complete R&D facility to actually not only develop the cameras, but to test them with photographers and also in our lab in terms of environmental testing. I actually had the privilege of working in the R&D facility myself for about a year, about 20 years ago. But you know, the truth of the matter is that from that experience, I was able to see how you know, painstaking and how meticulous our staff is in terms of being able to test the cameras under a wide range of conditions. Humidity, temperature, shock, you know, all these various different aspects.
Mm-hmm. So Canon's got a lot of competitors now, probably more than it's ever had before in the enthusiast and semi-professional space. Mm-hmm. If you include the new mirrorless systems from Sony, Panasonic, Olympus, Fujifilm. I mean, how do you persuade an audience that your products are the ones they should get involved with, they should buy?
I think one of the things that we really try to let people know is that we stand behind them after the sale as well as the actual purchase of the equipment. You know, it kind of goes without saying that the quality level of the camera has got to be there, otherwise they're not even going to be interested. Mm-hmm. We also have to make sure that they feel comfortable with the range of lenses and the range of accessories. I mean, we're kind of well known as being the top manufacturer of lenses in the entire SLR space. We recently announced over 100 million cumulative sales of lenses just in the last 27 years, which is, nobody's been able to top that. But beyond all that, what we really are trying to do is to let people know that we have a top-notch service after the sale, both in terms of repair, but also in terms of a call center for people to be able to get answers to their questions. We've been ranked #1 by the readers of PC Magazine for 11 consecutive years in terms of customer satisfaction. So we really think that that aspect of the whole customer experience is something that we need our customers to understand.
That's interesting. So I can't really let you get away from here without talking a little bit about See Impossible, which was this 48-hour countdown to, well, why don't you just describe what See Impossible is? Because I know a lot of our readers are a little confused.
Well, it's actually a branding campaign for Canon. Canon, as you know, is far more than cameras. You know, we have a tremendous range of different products, both in the business machine space as well as the consumer imaging space. And even in consumer imaging, the range between still cameras, video cameras, inkjet printers, and from the consumer level all the way up to professional, there's a whole range that way as well. So I think one of the objectives of this campaign was to help people understand the breadth and depth of the company a little bit more than they might otherwise.
So what does See Impossible mean to you, just very quickly? What does that motto, that slogan mean to you?
To me, what it really stands for is the ability of the customer to get out of the limited expectations that they may have before they started using our equipment and into learning, some of the features and capabilities that our equipment offers them that they might not have known.
What do you think Canon's biggest opportunities are as a camera manufacturer in, say, the next 2 to 3 years?
I think our opportunity really is to continue to develop the high quality level of our cameras in terms of not just the bodies themselves for sensors and processors and things like that, but especially our optics. We really have a great opportunity to keep on improving all of those areas, especially lens capabilities is something that photographers really appreciate.
I know you released a lot of recent price drops in the lens lineup. I mean, what drove that? What made it possible for you to do that?
Actually, I'd have to be completely honest and say that from a financial point of view, one of the things that made a difference for us over the last just year or two has been the change in the value of the yen versus the dollar. Right. That's really actually helped us out a little bit. But at the same time, we're trying to spread the appeal of these lenses out to a wider group, and being able to reduce the price helps us do that.
And just very quickly on that topic, I mean, do you think over the next couple of years we'll see full-frame DSLRs become more affordable?
I think that we're going to continue to see a whole range of cameras, both high and low end, from Canon. So, the full-frame situation is definitely something that we've got our eye on for both high and low end.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much, Chuck. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to shake
My
your
pleasure.
hand, and then we're going to go to the next interview. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us today.